I won't stop now. It being after 7 PM on January 21st, 2026, let's open the Kingston Zoning Board of Appeals. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. On the agenda, just to get ahead of it, anyone here for number 4 Indian Pond Country Club electrical permit? It is not happening. It's being moved to February 18th. I guess we should make that motion. Can I make a motion to continue the appeal for electrical permit for Indian Pond Country Club to February 18th? Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is that available? Is it good? Now that we've done all that? All right, very good. All right, Lane, do you want to read the hearing real quick?
Yeah, a public hearing will be held at Town Hall to hear the petition of Cushman Farms LLC, 33 Cushman Drive, Kingston, Mass., to request a comprehensive permit under Mass General Laws, Chapter 40B, to allow construction of 3 apartment buildings. This is already open, and it was continued to today.
You're good. Step up, are you attorney for it? I know we got some new stuff today. I want to get ahead of this early, just because it came to my attention after the last meeting, within like a day or two. So, Val, our current zoning enforcement officer, she brought up your project eligibility letter to the state. And it became noticeable to us that it's called Cushman Farms because it was supposed to come off of Cushman Lane, or Cushman Drive, excuse me. And it says that your application is past due, and at the same time, your application with the state says that you're coming through Cushman Drive, not from Marion Drive, and not to come out onto also Dead End Road. So we have a curiosity with the state that you have to reapply with the state to be approved with the state first with your new concept, because through the state it says you're coming through Cushman Drive, not through Marion Drive. So you're approved on your plan one way, and your plan in front of us is not the plan approved by the state. So we don't want to move further until you're approved again by the state, or you reapply and your application is granted.
Well, good evening, Mr. Chair and members of the board. Tanya Trevison for the applicant Cushman Farms LLC. With me is the manager, Rick Lincoln, and engineer, Megan Dutra. In response to your question, so the plans that are typically submitted when the project eligibility letter is issued are preliminary, and it's the same thing when it comes before the board initially. So this project application was originally filed in 2023, and the plans have been drastically changed since then, reduced in scope and whatnot. And in answer to your question, the project eligibility letter expires 2 years from the date thereof for application purposes, but the application was already filed for the comprehensive permit, so it runs through that course. So it hasn't expired, the project eligibility letter, because we filed the application for the comprehensive permit within 2 years of the project eligibility letter date. And it is inconsequential, the fact that the plans indicated it went into Cushman Drive, through Cushman Drive originally. The plans change. That's what happens with these projects.
Yeah, I understand the plan can change, but you're basically, through the state, they probably still see it as coming through Cushman Drive, not realizing it's coming through an industrial zone. So that's why we're pushing back and saying, you showed them one set of plans that was basically approved to move forward, and you have a new set of plans, which is saying you're coming off of another drive, and then coming out on a dead end, basically a dead end road that we have basically shut off. So we feel that you still need approval from the state for us to basically move forward. We're not saying we're denying or anything or stopping anything, we just feel like
The whole concept has changed.
its concept completely. So we feel like the state has no idea that you, basically, it's called Cushman Drive, it's called Cushman Farms for a reason.
Well, that's
Not
the name of
called-
the
It's called
LLC.
Marion Farms, okay? So there's kind of a deviation that's extreme here. So we feel that you need to reapply correctly and be approved by the state. Not saying we're denying it, I'm not saying we're holding up anything, we're just saying there still needs to be a piece corrected early on.
Well, procedurally, with all due respect, I think you're incorrect. And again, this has been going on for, 3 years now. So we would respectfully, I'll talk to my client, but we could ask you to vote tonight, and if you deny, we can just appeal it to the Housing Appeals Committee, because procedurally, what you're doing is not correct.
Well, we feel it's correct because, again, why would you call it Cushman Farms if it's?
The name of the LLC is Cushman Farms LLC.
Because
That's
you
why-
originally gave it to the state saying that it was coming through Cushman Drive.
It could have been called Berry Brook Farm LLC. It doesn't matter what the
I
name is.
understand, but it's pretty on the nose that it was originally coming through there, and now that it's changed because it's easier to come through an industrial zone, which I don't know if the state really realizes that it's coming through our only industrial zone in town. You want to put a residential road into our only industrial area of the whole town. And then on top of it, come out onto a dead-end closed road, not just a random dead end, we closed the road. So, again, we're not saying we deny it, we don't deny it, we're just saying we want it corrected. And you would think you would want it corrected also through the state, so that they could move forward with it, because you're asking for not just little things, there's other things in there we're gonna have obviously issues with. But this might be something that's a piece of the puzzle that might not be easily corrected on our end. So we want to make sure that this 40B moves forward and not be contentious in two different zones. Especially since it's all legalese. It's not even our stuff, it's legalese through the state. So, with all due respect, you guys sold them one bag of goods and it's a completely different bag of goods.
Can I have a moment with my client?
Sure.
Thank
Okay,
you.
could I just intervene? Is illegal, you keep talking about we, like the board, the board, well, I asked for the application a long time ago, so I've seen your application, your approval letter dated December 22nd. I was going to ask about, has it expired? But I guess I'm just a little concerned about the way you're representing that a decision has been made by the board. And I don't think we've made that decision. And I guess I'd like legal counsel to weigh in. This has been going on for too long. I just feel like we keep kicking this can down the road. I think we're doing a disservice to the residents of Copper Beach Road. I think they're concerned about this. I want to just take a deep breath if you want to consult with your counsel. But just for the record, unless we're advised by legal counsel that this is somehow a fraudulent application.
Fraudulent, I never said that word at all.
Well, you kind of implied that it's a
No.
whole different project, and we don't know if we'll be able to fix it on this end. I'm sorry, fraudulent was probably
No, I never
the
said the
wrong
word fraudulent.
adjective. That was the wrong adjective.
Well, Marcia, the plans have changed a number of times,
I know.
and so
And they're
this
gonna.
is a big project.
But it's kind of on us. I think it's sort of on this board to let this drag on for as long as it has, and suddenly, with a room full of people that have showed up to, I hope, tell us what they think about this project. That's what I want to hear. What do you people who are going to live next door to it think? So I understand the plans have changed. We continually ask them to change the plans through Pat Brennan, and they continually are responding to that. So that's where I'm coming from right now, as a member. a voting.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
Rick Lincoln. So I just, 2 cents. First of all, the name, I would agree with, Tanya, that the name had nothing to do with designating like the main entrance off of Cushman. It's a name that, when I researched in town, Cushman Farm, I mean, there was no deeper thought than that. I will say that I've done a whole bunch of 40Bs. 40Bs, or any project for that matter, they twist and turn all the way through the permitting process. So I just emailed my contact at Mass Housing. I haven't heard from them. They won't have any problem just because an entrance changed. It was never approved or signed off with the preliminary eligibility letter, same problem. With Mass Housing, right? I mean, the main entrance was on Cushman and Marion Drive. Cushman's gone away. Mass Housing, I hate to put words in their mouth, they're not gonna care. What happens is, if you approve it or deny it, at the end, I go for final approval once this is all done. Mass Housing just looks at all the changes that has happened, right? Have you reduced units? Has the town made you do certain things we don't like? Have you affected the affordability count? Stuff like that. So they expect projects to change. So, and I would think that Attorney Tallerman would probably support that, but I don't know if you guys have had a chance.
I understand everything you
talk
say.
to them, so.
You're not our first 40B in town by any means.
Yep.
I don't even think you're our fifth. I think you're even deeper than that.
Yep, understood.
I think that the bigger scope of this, and I know you're putting a small spin on it, is that you apply to the state a certain way, through a certain direction, and now it's coming through a different direction. And I'm not saying it could change, I'm just saying you still have to have all the ducks correct in a row, and they might say, whoa, we didn't know you were coming through an industrial zoned area for 142 units through literally, you are only residential areas going through there, and it's all businesses, industrial, trucking, and then the T stations, your only saving grace of
But that hasn't
vehicles.
changed. We were always coming in through Marion, right? We had a secondary access egress through Marion, so, through Cushman. So Marion hasn't changed. We're always coming, it's a transportation-oriented development. So the whole appeal to this, to Mass Housing, is the access to the train station. That side hasn't changed. All we changed was through a residential, Cushman is now coming through a residential Copper Beach. That's all that's changed. And the traffic study kind of supports, there are no
Your traffic
no
study
issues
doesn't
with the
support
traffic.
anything. Please don't set the traffic study, because we're gonna ask for a new one on that one, I'm sorry.
Well, but that's a peer review, so,
Yeah.
okay. That's it.
Peer review said that traffic study was bad. I'll pull the board, and we can move forward either way. Your feelings of what, like I said, I'm not saying you did anything devious by any means. I'm just saying it might need a reapplication. It came to our attention, so it didn't come out of the sky. Our zoning enforcement said, listen, something's just a smidge off here. I'll pull the board, and we can either continue to go forward, and I'll even ask some of the public, or, do we feel you need to get another PEL from the state stating that everything is still moving forward easily?
Well, at this point, with respect, we would request that the board take a vote on the project as proposed. And
As proposed by what? By today's stuff that you decided to submit on the day of the meeting?
so we have a presentation for you today.
Yeah,
to
but you
run through.
presented us with new information on the day of the meeting. So usually we require at least a week. I think we just got that today, correct?
We submitted the paper copies today. We sent them in about a week ago and asked if we should bring paper copies to the meeting or if we should bring them the day of. And we were told to bring them the day of the meeting, so that's what we did.
Sorry, I apologize. So, I'm gonna ask the board, because I only think we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. that only us five can, basically, is it.
That's it.
If we should move forward, or we should, you know, do you feel they want to allow it to bring it to a vote? Which, we have other issues that are coming through about waivers.
Wait,
So,
you're asking for a vote today?
Yes,
If-
we are.
How?
Wait,
How?
She wants to push a vote, is what she wants
a
to.
vote on the merits of the project?
We want the board to vote on whether or not it's going to issue a comprehensive permit based on our application tonight, yes. It's been pending for over 3 years.
But
It's
we haven't even seen
ridiculous.
any architectural,
Well, like I said.
I don't
we're-
think you want to push us to vote tonight.
No, it's fine. We're ready to go.
You don't even know what our questions are.
We're
About
happy to
the-
answer questions, but we would like the board to vote on the application tonight.
Regardless of whether we think it should be revised. Do the new plans show open space?
We can do our
I
presentation
don't know.
if you.
Apparently, there's something new that was submitted.
Yes, last week there were revised plans based on the peer review content.
I have them. Are those the January?
No, these are just fresh.
So wait, you want to vote,
Only,
but you're, sorry, go.
I was just saying, they only want to vote because I'm asking for them to get a new project eligibility letter. That's why they're pushing the vote, because
But
they
if
don't
we-
want to go back to the state.
But if we ask you to do certain things on this, you'll just say no? I don't understand what you're asking for.
Me
You want
neither.
us to vote on something tonight without, I mean, we just got information last week. We might have some comments on it, and you're saying you're not going to entertain anything that we say? So why are we even having this hearing?
Well, we're happy to present this evening, but if you're gonna, if we're gonna be pushed to get a new project eligibility letter, we need to go back to the state anyway after approval of a project, regardless if it's by you or by the HAC or what. So the state is gonna review this. The project eligibility letter is valid. The application was filed within 2 years of the project eligibility letter being issued. Project plans change. This is part of the process. This is never, I've never experienced this before. This has never come up. And I feel like it's a delay tactic because, again, this has been pending for over 3 years.
This is definitely not a delay tactic. You have more waivers in here that we're gonna have more trouble with than any 40B we've ever seen. So you have waivers galore on setbacks, on land clearing, on multiple levels here that we don't allow, we haven't allowed other 40Bs to do. So, we don't call it a stall tactic at all. I just think, again, for a 40B, you'd like to have all your ducks in a row. Since it takes, I don't know, it's a packet for the comprehensive permit, as you know. So, to me, and I'll ask, like I said, I'll.
May
the board.
may I ask council a question?
No, not yet.
Oh.
So I guess my feeling is, since they're playing a hardball, what is your feeling of moving forward? Do we let them do a presentation for the public? Or do we ask them to get another a PEL?
In connection with what is that a motion? Is there a motion?
No, I am just pulling the board.
I would like to ask the lawyer a question about if we go down the path that it appears that you keep speaking in the editorial "we" without, but, and we vote that you have to go get another letter or an approval, because I'm looking at this, December 19th, I think that's the, if we do that, will you appeal that to the housing court? Will you do that as a grounds, an illegal ground, and that will end up in a big legal fight in the housing court, which I think we will likely lose, and then I feel like we're going to be at a big disadvantage then, since we haven't even heard you out. We'll go to mediation. I mean, our track record, with all due respect to the chair, on making these kinds of sweeping declarations and decisions in these 40B cases has not been particularly good, in my opinion. Insofar as, that's just a judgment, Paul, it's just my total independence based upon some of the housing court outcomes that I've seen. So would you do that? Would we be in an instant litigation with you? You can consult with your client if you want, but that's an important factor for me. I'd like to deal with this on the merits and not deal with this on procedural issues. I think we owe it to our townspeople.
I really don't think that they have to disclose their litigation.
Again,
strategy.
I'm just asking her
That's-
that, because to me, that's a factor.
We do have the right to appeal it. That's what I will say.
Okay, thank you. Answered my question.
Still didn't get me anywhere. Lane, any feelings? Do you want to?
I mean, we can condition it on them going back, I don't know. I mean, it does on their attachment 1 to their application. It says that it's Cushman Drive and Marion. I mean, this is, I just got this from the town planner. She just sent this today. I just got this when I walked in here. I don't know enough about it.
We can hear them out. I don't care.
Yeah.
That's why I'm pulling the Lord. Kevin?
Chair, can I make just one comment?
Go ahead.
I didn't expect to go down this path, you know, I kind of wanted to, I know your, Pat Brennan is here, I see him, and has, I don't even know if he has a few minor comments left. I met with Water, you know, we're in good shape there, a couple of minor comments on a final plan, sewer's approved. I just figured we'd talk about the new plans and go forward with it, but
I'm just, again,
You
I'm
know,
just making
so-
sure that we're not getting ahead of ourselves on things and then come to find out this was a bigger piece of the puzzle that, I'm not a lawyer, so. And someone goes, well, we screwed this up, and 'cause we've had other 40Bs where we've had small issues come up that we've learned in retrospect we should have corrected 5 years down the road. So I'm trying to be ahead of these things now. You know, where HOAs aren't as fully established, and now they're having problems 5 years later. And all the houses have been sold. So, and this is a much bigger project. So I'm making sure that little things like these that pop up are corrected very early on. That being said, Lane, Kevin?
I think this has to be clarified, you know, with either town council or clarify it with the state before we vote. But we could move on and we can hear the presentation. I'd like to see the plans and study them too. And not so much of a vote, because I haven't seen them, the current. And I'd like to hear from the general public.
All right.
So just for clarification, the plans were provided a week ago to the board?
Yeah, the digital.
It was actually a few weeks ago.
Oh, a few weeks ago,
The
sorry.
majority of the plans were provided a few weeks ago. What we sent a week earlier was just the updated landscape and photometrics, and I believe the rendering of the building.
Very good. Yeah, I think fire asked for a 3D of that. I think the fire department asked for a 3D version of it. Bob?
Yeah, I agree with Kevin and Lane. It seems like a big question mark.
Marcia?
I've read the letter. I don't see the findings in the letter support it being a disqualifying, there being any finding in the letter that disqualifies you from going forward. It's really with a request of this board to issue you, the applicant, a comprehensive permit based upon the plans that you present to us. So I think it's a kind of a non-starter, and we should just move on with the hearing.
Carry on, Dave?
Just in reading the attachment 1, it does say that both those roads are in play. in the original proposal. So I know things have changed, but is there a way we could move forward with a, condition that we clarify?
Well, there wouldn't be no condition because it would be part of the comprehensive permit. That's kind of so comprehensive permit, once it's said and done, that package is basically the full permit. There's no conditions. It's all built into the cake. There's no extra pieces coming late. It all comes as one. So that's kind of, this is a freight train moving forward. There's no, once it's gone past, you can't go back, go, oh, I forgot about that. It's too late. It's been signed off, it's done. So that's kind of, it's not like you screwed up on a special permit and go back and fix it. This is, they're usually smarter than us when it comes down to it.
Right.
They're doing it for a reason. They're putting their capital in there for a reason. So that's kind of one of the pieces of the pie I'm trying to put out there. And I have no problem continuing it on. But I'm just saying, if we forget something or miss something, and once we sign that comprehensive permit and that stamp gets hit and they get through the appeal period, there's no going back. And then all eyes have to be on it from there on out.
Right.
Whether the board changes every single member and everybody in the townhouse is changed out. So that's the heads up I'm putting out there. So, and this is a very big 40B.
Right.
It's actually a huge 40B. I would say it's bigger than a very big. So that's my 2 cents. That's all. But it seems like the board wants to carry on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not wanting to vote tonight, I don't know.
Oh, I definitely don't want to vote tonight. I just wanted things to be corrected. And again, I don't know if this was something where they say, well, things have to change if you're supposed to be coming off of a very small residential drive, and now you want to come off an industrial road, and I understand he has it popping out to the PT station, but I don't know if that was his initial sent to the state. So, I gave my 2 cents. We will hear you out. We'll take your presentation.
Okay. So Megan Dutra is going to present the revised plans.
Thank you.
So the majority of edits that happened for the plan set this time around were based on comments from the peer review letters as well as comments from the water department. For the most part, the utilities changed a bit. We lowered the sewer and the drainage a little bit to make some better room for the water. Additionally, the amenity building changed on this one. There were some architecturals that we submitted for the amenity building that shows the different components of it. It shows the mailroom within it. It shows a patio within the backside for a little bit of a...
Sorry.
slow down.
Yes, 2 things, yeah.
Sorry.
Where are you on
Yeah,
this?
exactly. So I need
What-
to, I was gonna
We
say-
have to follow along.
Yeah, you're doing like an engineer, you're doing perfect. You have to point and show, so if you want to put it closer to you, because the public's like,
Sure.
whoa, you're flying. Yeah, just back it toward your podium, so when they show you, you can kind of point and just talk as you go, I understand. Can you make that from the, hold on, the cameras are here, so that's, yeah, turn it like, there you go, does the camera have it there? There we go, maybe you can point at it from there, there you go. And point the camera toward you.
Do we have this copy?
Yes.
Is this the parking summary?
We have it labeled as the aerial plan.
Do you have a page number?
This was a separate PDF that was submitted, just a one-page sheet.
Is this the 12/4/24 adjoining parcels aerial photo? I'm just trying to figure out.
Yep, it's the one you said, aerial plan is labeled?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Dated 12/4?
correct.
And in the upper left-hand corner, it says parking summary table.
Yep, there's a
Okay,
parking summary
perfect.
table.
I got it.
This one. Came in there, you can
Do we have, when did this come?
I think paperwork came in today, but I have a different piece if you want to keep that one. Or you want the bigger one? If we need to take a quick recess.
I don't think it's part of the January 6
we have
revised
copies of all
plans. I got
Yeah,
it
but,
in a little sheet.
yeah, can we take a brief recess?
Yeah,
and
take a vote.
Get the,
Motion to make a quick 5-minute recess.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, very good.
It's this, guys.
we are back. Make a motion to come out of recess. Oh, wait, thank you. Make a motion to come out of recess.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, mics are on. All right, start, take it away.
Okay.
Make sure you kind of show us what's going on as
Yeah.
you go. Thank you.
So one of the first major changes we made was with the amenities building, which we changed out for a new version. So this one, the previous version was just kind of a placeholder while we were seeing what the town might like to see in it. There were architecturals included in this submission that have all the things inside it, including like a weight room, remote work rooms, the mail room is in there. There's a little bit of a patio on the backside. The parking also swapped to the other side of the road. Previously, the amenities building was on the right side if you're staring at the plan.
What are those pink lines coming out the back of it?
The pink lines along the top,
Yes.
those are the limit of work for the sidewalk work.
I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing you. What'd you say?
Those are the limit of work lines for the sidewalk work.
Okay.
Why is there 3? Why does it go so far out?
It's just to show enough room for them to actually be able to work on it.
Oh, okay. Very good. Okay, carry on.
In addition, for 2 additional spots of open space, next to the first building coming in from Marion Drive, we added in a patio sit-in area. Basically just an area for people to be able to go, sit, spend a nice afternoon
Can you
out.
point that out, please?
Is that the triangular piece on the aerial photo?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
There looks like a little triangular piece.
Yep,
Black and white dots.
Is that the patio you're making reference to?
yep, so that's the patio near the first building.
Will it be paved like the parking lot?
There'll likely be pavers.
Pavers, okay.
We also added near the second building a dog park. So just an area for people to be able to walk down and have some outdoor time for their dog in a nice
have it on my
enclosed
plans.
fenced area.
Hold
Yeah,
on.
I don't have
I don't have that on my plans.
See how big these areas are, she's rather almost, so we can stand on the other side.
Yeah, I understand that, but I don't even have a picture on my, she has a different picture than we have, so that's why.
I went into the plan set, which has a bit of a bigger view. I can go back to the aerial, but you can probably see better detail within the plan set. This is,
So the size of the dog park is what size?
it's about 80 feet by 120 feet.
I'm sorry, I have a question. You're on page 14 of the revised plans from January 6th.
Oh, any of this.
Is that,
Yes.
and you're saying that there's a dog park on there, like, can you point that again, where you are?
This is the parking lot.
Yeah, that's not labeled on there, is it?
It's labeled on the layout plan. I'm showing you it on the grading plan right now.
Can you point me in the right direction of where the layout plan is?
Sure. So you can find those 2 pages, the layout versions, on pages 11 and 12.
Right here.
Page what?
11 and 12.
L2.
Dog,
Okay.
proposed dog park.
So you're getting rid of the parking lot that's there?
There is a parking lot, and then there's a dog park right next to it.
Right, added to
Okay,
it.
so the trees that are on this one are not going to be there?
No.
Is there an updated, sorry to take over, is there an updated plan that shows in color?
The grassed areas aren't really shown on that plan. It just shows the pavement and the buildings. It's more like to show where everything is in reference just to the surrounding streets.
So you don't have an updated one of these?
That is updated, just the grassed areas were never intended to be shown on that plan.
Okay, but you want us to vote tonight, and you're not giving us the information that we need.
Is
This
the
doesn't
in-
have a dog park on it, if I'm looking at it. This doesn't make sense to me, what you're asking for, like, come to us with the full,
The aerial plan
Information,
is
please.
more of a supplemental plan, just for an extra picture, but all the information is actually in the plan set.
so we have to go to this, then go to each one of these pages to kind of fill in.
If you'd like, you
put
can
it
look directly
all
to the
around-
plan set itself. The aerial is really just extra for you, just a little bit of pretty for it, but
What?
You have to go up to the mic, you have to go to the mic.
I'm not following anything.
I know, it's hard to follow.
I have the plans on the computer, so we can display them up here for everyone to see and follow along better. I just need to be given screen sharing permission. Okay. All right, there we go. So, if you let me know which.
I'm trying to follow also, I haven't done that on my phone. You have the same plan I am looking at.
Yeah, okay. I'll carry that with you.
it goes that far.
No, it doesn't go that far.
Do you want a microphone?
Do you have one you can walk with?
Here he comes. I saw him, he's back there.
He's putting that in.
Oh, okay. All right, continue, thank you.
So as we were saying, on the layout plan here, you can see the dog park in this area that's past the last parking lot, which will be surrounded by trees. This is just a nice fenced-in area for people to be able to walk their dogs or just have them out playing in the safe fenced area for them,
Grass area?
grass area. At both entrances now, we show the gates. There's one here, as well as one right here.
What page is that?
That is page Should be 11, I believe.
L1, I think.
I think it's 16.
Yep, page 10.
16, I think.
They already said that was page 10.
You're in the big pack, I'm in the smaller subset.
Page what?
Page 10?
Thank you.
Yeah, but this should be smaller. Yeah. You can look at my.
Some of this has changed.
Yeah. I know.
Okay.
Even though the date is the same.
You mind if I ask?
Go ahead. That's good.
Okay, so the gates, you explain how they work again. The
Yep.
Marion Drive one is, how does that work?
So the Marion Drive will have access with the gates in and out. Someone has to go up to it. It has a panel on it that they have to scan their little key fob on it, and that will lift the gate so they can enter or exit. On the north side, there's only one gate going out that they can scan. The one in would only work for fire access.
And what kinds of gates are these? Are they like the flag gates, or are they the big gates?
They're flag poles, basically.
Why are there gates at the main in and out entrance?
Why are there gates?
Yeah, at your main entrance, like your most major entrance.
At the Marion Drive one?
Yeah.
We kept gates there. We figured you would prefer to see it since one of the major issues we've heard was worry that traffic will be getting through the site development to the other side.
Okay.
So we left the gates there. If you don't feel they're necessary, we don't have to have them there, but we left
Okay.
them.
Just, it was curious. Very good.
Another major thing we did with this submission, the planning board requested that we increase a portion of the spaces to 10 by 20. So they requested 15%. We converted 23% of the spaces, and we have them labeled on the plan in assorted places, noting where there are the larger spaces, and they're a bit spread out through the plan so that there's a little bit everywhere.
I see one spot for snow removal. Do you only have one?
Nope, there are several spots. They're all the dotted areas. So there's a few spread out around. The planning board asked for 5% area. We're currently provided, I believe, 15%.
So beyond the parking spaces in some spots?
So they're kind of on the other side, so the plow can just come in and scoop up.
But on my plan, you have trees there. So the plan that I have right in front of me has big circles where you just pointed. And those are trees on my plan. So how are you gonna put snow where there's trees and bushes?
Trees don't really go all the way to the ground. You can put snow beneath the trees and around the trees.
Yeah, but trees do grow and you have them pretty good, well spaced. So you're just gonna take the snow and push in between the trees?
It's a little bit of area that you can put snow, yes.
Okay, I'm just saying, your plan, the picture you're showing me there does not look like my plan. It has a very basic landscape plan of trees. And we usually don't take snow and push it between the trees. Usually you push it to the easiest zone and pile it up. I just find it weird that your plan is different than mine, but you're showing me the same detail, which I find kind of weird. But okay.
I
carry
assume
on.
you might be looking at the landscaping plan?
I don't know, it's dated January 6th, and it's the only stuff we have that actually shows the stuff that you're pointing at.
Is it labeled something like L1 or L2 or L3?
Yes,
That's one of the
yes.
landscaping plans?
Yes. So I guess that would be a little closer to the final than that picture. All right, carry on. I'm just saying, you keep pointing to areas, but there's trees there. And you don't have trees on that you're showing the public, so just making sure that they're aware that you have a landscaping plan to do something where say you're putting just the snow. Carry on, sorry.
Are we on page 16?
We are on page,
No, I'm on page 10, I think.
yep, this is page 10.
10?
10, and then L1 is what Paul was
Yes.
referencing. I have another one here.
This is the same picture she's looking at, just it has another layer on it. All right, snow removal next.
Okay. So overall, with the parking changes, we are still at a 1.7 ratio. We were previously at 1.8. The town requires between 1.2 to 2, based on the fact that we have 2-bedroom, 3-bedrooms, and 1-bedrooms. We are required to have 223 spaces. We still have 245 spaces with the additional larger spaces. So, other than that, as I mentioned previously, a lot of the changes were just in elevation for the sewer and the drainage to make room for the requests we had from the water department, and just going through the modifications they asked for on that. Otherwise, this plan is pretty similar to what we've submitted to you previously.
Okay, you mentioned that at the recommendation of the planning commission, that you changed a percentage of the parking spaces to make them larger.
Correct.
Did that cause you to increase correspondingly the impervious area?
Correct.
By how much?
I don't have the exact number of how I could get the number if I went through all the math, but really all it came down to is we just had to size up our drainage a little bit to make sure it could accommodate the additional stormwater from the additional impervious.
Okay, because I don't have your old plan, but I think the total impervious area on your January 6th plan is the same as your previous plan. So maybe you just didn't update that?
It might be. We minimized some other impervious areas too, so.
Oh, all right. Okay, just curious. Thanks.
Really, overall, too, we lost a few spaces in order to get those new spaces, so the overall change in impervious was not really that much as well.
I recall there being an area for bike parking someplace. Where is that shown?
So we have those in a few spots. You can see there are some here, some here. This is still all on page 10. There's also some near the amenity building, and then we have some as well on page 11.
Are there EV charging stations anywhere on the?
We don't currently have EV charging stations.
Have you considered that?
It's something we can consider adding.
You,
Sorry. So we don't have them on this plan, but I typically will do quite a few, and there's also solar plan, which will feed a lot of the, like geothermal, we're talking about doing in the common areas and everything. But, so these are 100% electric now.
oh, okay. But you're thinking about doing that as the prospective owner of the
Yeah, we
apartment building?
typically will get these things decided upon, you know, approved or denied, but eventually we get to construction level detail, and then we're back in front of you, the building department, everybody kind of still weighs in. In the old days, these were just conceptual plans anyways. You know, you approve them, deny them, then you go to construction level detail, but it's kind of morphed now where we do a lot more detail now before the decision is even rendered. That part's changed a lot, so.
Thank you.
Anything else?
That is about all we've changed, so if you have any questions on that, I can answer those for you.
Lane, anything on the new stuff?
No.
Kevin?
Thank you.
Not at this time.
Bob?
No.
Marcia?
None of the new stuff that they've gone over.
Dave?
I am just curious about open space, where it really isn't much. Have we been through this? I mean,
No.
it seems that you have an assortment up to 3-bedroom units, which is gonna be.
Put your microphone on.
Is your mic on? Is your mic on? Just check your mic.
Which is gonna include families, where are they gonna go out and play? I mean, you have a dog park, and that's great for dogs, and you have a little patio but with 160 some odd units, where are people gonna congregate, like on the nice weather?
For the most part, I would say either they'd probably be out at the dog park on the patio or in the amenity building. There are some community spaces within the amenity building as well as a patio in the back of it as well.
What's the total square footage of the dog park and the 2 patios combined? I'd be curious.
The total together, it's a little too fuzzy on there to read the numbers.
And being the builder, how many children do you think would be on this property? Yeah.
We're probably
Give a rough
between,
estimate. How many children do you think would be on these completed thing?
Well, and this question has come up a lot over 20 years. So I've done 75, I did 2 of them up in Hanover, and we ended up with like 9 or 10 kids in
10
75
kids
units.
in this whole unit? You think there's only be 10
No,
kids?
that's in 76 units.
So you think you're gonna have only 20
double it
kids?
for this one.
So for affordable units in there and trying to make this an affordable type area, you think you're going to have 20 children total?
Yep. I just saw something in the paper, somebody's coming in and doing 400 units in Taunton, and they were on fire because they came up with a similar statistic, although it was relevant to 400 units. I mean, I've done 4 of these now, and you don't tend to get children.
I think there's
in-
more
in
children
apartments.
on Copper Beach than there is in that whole thing.
Yep, I mean, I
And
know,
there's
with,
less houses.
you're getting chuckles from the audience, I get that, but I'm just telling you, my experience over the last 10 or 12 years, you do not get, and at these rental rates in the Boston metro region, you don't get people coming in with 2 and 3 kids. It doesn't happen. You know, most of these are 1 bedrooms and 2 bedrooms. The 2 bedrooms tend to get split, you know, between 2 partners or 2 friends, because it's the only way people can afford the rent. We don't have enough apartments, you know, but so that's my experience, you know, with the children.
So to use your numbers, so 20 children are supposed to play on 2 patios and a dog park?
Well, first of all, there's a ton of woods out here that we've not designated as.
No one's gonna have their kids playing in the woods that deep off the, if you look at basically the runoff off the edges, because you guys are asking for waivers of setbacks of 5 feet in some areas to areas that drop off 20 feet. So you're asking a 5-foot setback, that's from me to her away, and then dropping 20 feet into the ground to play in the woods. Not to say that it's a joke, but it's a joke.
I think this one here is gonna be a lot more amenable for outside activities than the mall,
Playing in the
right?
pavement?
The mall has
Well,
like 0 green grass.
And I agree with you.
They have a pool.
So I'm just saying,
There's a pool there.
there you go.
I think you have an open space, considerable open space problem. Because it seems like right now the kids will be playing in the emergency access lane or in basically the parking lot. But if every unit's taken up, every parking spot will be taken up, and then you'll just have the roadway and 2 patios, as long as the patios don't have any furniture on them, taking up any space.
What's going in between the 2 buildings? Is it just trees?
That lot between the 2 buildings is owned by the town.
Oh,
and it drops off significantly.
okay.
I saw in some submittal, I don't know what, that there is a path from, maybe it's from Copper Beach to the school. Would that path be accessible to this, your development, the Cushman, what is it, 140? Is that the path?
Yeah, that's the path that goes up to the school.
So can the children from this development access that path?
We're proposing a sidewalk along Copper Beach Drive that leads to the path, so they'd be able to walk up to the school.
You were proposing a sidewalk on Copper Beach Drive,
Correct.
right? And that was to facilitate this projected 20 school-age children maybe walking to school via that path?
Correct.
Okay.
Where would the bus stop be?
The bus stop would be just directly in front of the gates on Copper Beach.
On Copper Beach? But it's a Marion Drive, as you were saying, and it's either Marion or Cushman is what the two facilitated areas are.
That's the out one.
What?
The one-way out is onto Copper Beach, right?
No, I understand that, but we had this argument earlier that it's a Marion and Cushman Drive originally, so why is the outlet only there? Why wouldn't you have the bus come to Marion Drive? Or would you have it come to the one-way out?
Because they're probably going down Copper Beach Road anyway.
Yeah, I imagine they would
Beach is a
probably be
dead
coming
end.
from this area since the schools in the town are coming from this area. So I imagine they would want to come down here, stop here to pick up the kids at this exit, and then turn around and head on out.
There's no turnaround.
It's a half of a turnaround. It's like a hammerhead turnaround.
Near the Copper Beach.
Any more? Any more stuff before I go to the public? Actually, I'm gonna go to Mr. Brennan real quick.
Oh, I have a couple of questions. The, currently, based upon the topography, the tree canopy is taller than the proposed elevation of the two buildings, correct?
Correct.
From what I tell by your overhead photo. Now, is that tree canopy going to be leveled as part of the filling operation?
No, those areas are the areas that would be staying where we label the tree canopy.
I mean, how are you going to, it's pretty close to the project. Is that possible to maintain all of that tree canopy? Because that blocks a lot of noise that would impact the Copper Beach neighborhood visually. It will block the light from the parking areas. There's a lot of parking. Are you sure that can be done? I just don't know how you can bring in all that fill and save that huge swath of forest.
I mean, we should be able to travel down the ways that we're already going to be constructed on. There shouldn't really be an issue protecting those areas. Typically, at the start of construction, we'll put up the sediment controls around the site to protect the areas that we don't want the construction crew going into. And
Did you do any noise impact analysis on the Copper Beach neighborhood?
I don't know if you have, okay.
No? What about an illumination analysis, light pollution?
We did, that is one of the things we submitted a week prior. It's in the stack there of the photometric plans.
Did that focus on Copper Beach, that neighborhood?
It focused really on the development itself and basically where the lights are going to be shining to and where the light impact ends, basically.
Are there streetlights on Copper Beach Road right now? So so like at nighttime, it's dark on Copper Beach. I mean, is that going to be maintained with the illumination that's going to be required to illuminate these parking areas? It's one of the things that,
Based on the photometric analysis, should be, yes.
Okay. Did you ever have any, there was light pollution, the scale of the project in relationship to the Copper Beach neighborhood, it just seems so out of whack with the neighborhood vibe on Copper Beach. It just seems so industrial, almost institutional. Right now, it's just these big, giant buildings. I don't see any architectural detail that tries to soften the harshness of that. Maybe it's too early in the development. Have you considered breaking up into smaller structures to make it more residential? It just seems so
Dense?
project-like.
For the most part, we've kept the buildings, we've kind of, versus how we started, where one of the buildings was kind of on the north side of the, or I should say, the west side of the Thomas Street right-of-way. We kind of moved them down. We made them a little taller, but the trees still, you know, shield against the neighborhood. The closest part to the community is the smaller amenity building. So for the most part, we've kind of kept things as far as possible away from the rest of the neighborhood community. The roads are, for the most part, they're only 20 feet, which is smaller than the town typically requests in the planning board regs, but having smaller roads also keeps your speed limits down. It's kind of a traffic calming measure.
I'm not concerned about the speeding through the parking lot as much as I am the scale of the buildings in relation to this lovely little neighborhood that it's sitting right next door to. I know it's not a single family. I'm not trying to go to that vibe, but just a little more residential and less institutional. It reminds me of the apartments at the mall, and I don't think you're going for that vibe.
Now, hopefully, I've spent a lot of money on these architects. I've used them before. That's the elevation that they came up with. We did have 3 buildings out there originally that were only 3 stories. But we got rid of the one to try and protect the, I don't know how wide that tree stand is there, like.
It ranges from 100 to like 140 feet wide.
Right, so it's 100 feet to 140 feet wide of trees that we kept. But by doing that, we went to 4 stories. Also, that's zoned industrial out there, so the early plans that I looked at, I was not involved in it, but it's lot line to lot line, and they were, you know, they had industrial, you know, the old space building type buildings, you know, so it is zoned industrial. You know. Yep.
And I appreciate that it is in an industrial zone. It just happens to be next to a residential neighborhood.
Thank you.
What, I
I'm
have
just
a
checking
question.
my notes here.
Marcia, you done?
I'm done.
I just have a quick question. Maybe at the last meeting, there was talk about that like at the bottom, there was like a gun range or something.
So the regulations for the gun range, you're not allowed to put a gun range within a certain distance to a residential area that already exists. However, you're allowed to build a residential area if there is already a gun range there.
Sounds a little,
So what it will be the distance from the gun range to the,
I believe the distance to the building might have been 150 feet when I measured it. The gun range isn't shown on this plan.
I think, just to help everybody out, I think they got ahead of the gun range. Gun range didn't permit till after.
Paul, there's comments, I don't,
Yes, I'm gonna try to get the public, but I want to hear from our engineer who's sitting there patiently. I'm waiting for them to finish and our comments to end. Anybody else on the board before we move on to Mr. Brennan? Very good. Mr., can you lower your map? Mr. Brennan, you there?
Yes, I am, Mr. Chairman.
Would you like to comment at all?
Yeah, so I reviewed the revised plans that they just kind of briefly went over, along with the drainage calculations that they submitted. A lot of the smaller changes that Ms. Dutra was referring to were in response to comments that I had in my original letter to the board, or my original 2 letters to the board. Just some of the, they've addressed a lot of my comments. Some of the comments, I'm just going to kind of outline a couple of them or a few of them that I think the board still should probably discuss with the developer going forward. The first is the proposed sidewalk along Copper Beach Drive. I've raised this issue before. They're showing the sidewalk with the Cape Cod berm immediately adjacent to it. I recommend a vertical curb of some type, whether it be concrete or granite or something to protect the pedestrians, because with a Cape Cod berm right along a sidewalk, it gives no protection to the pedestrians on the sidewalk. A car can very easily drive, or any vehicle can very easily drive right up on a Cape Cod berm and onto the sidewalk. So that's a discussion that I think the board and the developer need to have to come to a consensus on what that curbing should be there along that sidewalk. As was noted, they did reduce the parking count by 20 spaces to get that. They now have 57 parking spaces that are 10 by 20, which are what is required. The remainder of them are all 9 by 18, so it is a 23% of the spaces are at the correct size. I have a few suggested conditions. I'm not going to go, for some of my comments, I'm not going to go over those right now. They're in my letter, so I don't think we really need to get into those. One of the items that I brought up is in the project eligibility letter. There are several issues that it was said that they should be addressed in the application to the ZBA. And one of them is the impacts of the proposed project with the adjacent MBTA right-of-way, and proposed mitigation, including noise and vibration screening. In their latest response, they said that final architectural and site screening will be provided at a later date. They did provide some additional architectural drawings in the initial submittal, and on the 6th of January. They had architectural floor elevation or floor plans. I think it was just last week they provided the elevation views of the 2 large buildings. But there's still no discussion on the screening and how they will mitigate the noise from the MBTA tracks. They did submit the landscape plan, as was mentioned. I did hear that they submitted a photometric plan. I haven't received a copy of that, so if Gene could get me a copy of that so I can take a look at that for the board, that would be helpful. And then to just kind of review a couple of the issues that were brought up, between the last set of plans and this set of plans, the total proposed impervious it increased by about 13,000 square feet. It's now at about 4.77 acres of impervious area. That's all of the sidewalks, roadways, parking areas, and buildings.
What percentage is that?
Of what, the total land area? Or
Of impervious?
I'll look, while you're taking questions from the public, I'll do that calculation for you.
Over 20%, you think, or over 25%?
I'm not really sure.
I'm not holding you to it.
Oh, no, hold on a sec. It's over 25%, I believe.
Over 25%.
I believe it is about 52% of the total land area that they have.
52% of it is impervious?
Correct.
Holy crap.
And then, there's one other question that I wanted to answer, but I forget what it was. Yeah, so most of my other comments, like I said, there's other items that are still outstanding, but they could be conditions of approval as outlined in my letters. And other than that, I think they've addressed the majority of my comments at this point in time. But I'd be happy to answer any questions that the board may have.
Lane, any questions for Mr. Brennan?
No, thank you.
Kevin?
No.
Bob?
No, thanks.
Marcia?
No, I guess just one, Kevin, where are we on the traffic study?
I think we're gonna have to circle back to
The
that.
chairman mentioned earlier in the proceedings that we were going to have,
I think they seem inadequate, and I was gonna ask you guys at the end of this.
oh, I thought maybe Pat had an idea about it. Okay, sorry.
Well, there was a peer review done by Gillen Associates back in November. Nothing's been updated since that November 5th hearing, which was the last one that we were at. I will go back to Mr. Gillen and just ask him if he has any other comments on the project. His letter pretty much agreed with the applicant traffic study. Excuse me. Excuse me. The one thing that he asked for, or he said that could be clarified a little bit, is how those gates will work and how they're going to keep public out, cut through traffic out, and that type of thing. Because basically what the traffic study shows is that the majority of the traffic will be going in and out through Marion Drive. Obviously, there'll be no entering traffic from Copper Beach, as it's a one-way out only. And the traffic study, a lot of the assumptions in the traffic study are based on the fact, or the assumption that a lot of the commuter traffic from the project will be using the commuter rail. So that's why most of the traffic is expected to use the Marion Drive access. But again, I'll ask Mr. Gillen to clarify some of his statements in his November 4th report.
And is the assumption they're all going to drive their cars? Or are they going to ride their bikes or take their electric bike? Just walk. Or walk, yeah. I'm trying
1,000
to-
feet away.
Is that do you know, Pat?
I don't know. We'll ask about that.
Okay, thank you.
Dave? Go ahead.
Pat, what about the two lots that are owned by the town of Kingston smack in the middle of this?
Yes, that was the question that I forgot about. It was about the tree canopy and how they were going to preserve that so close to the proposed development. Basically, they have several retaining walls, some fairly high ones, in order for them to construct basically right up to the property lines, do their cuts and fills and not disturb the adjacent property. So there'll be, those properties will be, the one in the middle between the two buildings that's owned by the town, excuse me, that one will be cut off by retaining walls pretty much on all three sides. So the only way to actually access that land would be to go up to the parking area across from the amenities building and walk back down into it. But yeah, the reason why they are building right up to the property lines, or why they are showing that they're able to, is because of the retaining walls that they're proposing around the perimeter.
To help with Kevin, they're requesting a waiver, just so the public knows, a waiver to be up to, 5 feet up to the property line? And we usually allow 15 feet from the property line, is that correct?
Yeah, one of the buildings, the building number 1, which is the first one coming in off of Marion Drive, is 5.7 feet off the property line. The amenities building's actually even closer than that. The building number 2, which is the one further in, closer to the dog park, is 12.3 feet off the property line. And that's I think it's the Thomas Street right away, that property line.
Anything else, Kevin?
That's all. I just, who authorized approval?
We do.
But they're asking for a waiver.
We're asking for a waiver from it.
Okay.
We don't have to grant them the waiver.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Before we move on to the public. All right, public, name, address, please be definitive. As we're already getting late to the night.
Hi, good evening. I'm Keith Hansen. I live at number 1 Copper Beach Drive. One thing I'd like to clear up right off the bat, that easement that goes from the school over to Copper Beach Drive, that was designed as an emergency egress only from the school. I had conversation just last week because I'm trying to get that repaired. It's right next to my house. Because the roots are coming up through the pavement and it's in deplorable condition. And that's what they told me. None of the students use that to go to the school. In fact, they're not allowed to, is what I was explained. Because there's no sidewalks, and all the kids on Copper Beach Drive, even though it's right next to the school, they get picked up by school buses, okay? So that is not made for the kids. The only people that use it are some of my neighbors walking dogs. None of the kids use that to go to school, so I just want to clear that up right now. And the second thing is, I'd like to approach you. Could I give this
Yes.
seat, please? Okay, what I gave you is a copy of Mass General Law 269, Section 12E as an echo. This covers the discharge of firearms within 500 feet of a dwelling. It was just briefly brought up and kind of brushed over. The Kingston Police Department has a gun range within 500 feet of this proposed development. From what I've read, and it's kind of spells it right out here, in order for them to shoot their guns, they have to get written permission from every property owner that lives there. And this is according to the law.
I'll just get ahead of this. I looked into this exact thing for this exact purpose. What I found out is they filed prior to the town filing for the gun range. So in other words, they were ahead of the filing with the gun range of the police department, just to give you a heads up. I looked into this personally. And even though they've been using it impromptu for a long time, they didn't properly file with the town. They filed after the fact of them putting in for their 40B.
All right, so what does that mean? They can coexist together?
No. If they exist, gun range does not exist.
So they're gonna move the gun range?
So they'd have to. In other words, they got ahead of them.
Okay, because I was gonna say, it's like oil and water.
Exactly.
These two things can't exist.
That's exactly why I looked into it.
All right?
And I
So-
looked into
So
it.
the Kingston police are gonna move the gun range?
I don't know what they're gonna do. I just know they did not file ahead of them. They filed ahead of them filing. There was always an impromptu range. Everybody knows it's been a range forever, even when the train wasn't running. But they didn't properly file with the town to be a gun range prior to them filing for their 40B permit.
So what I don't understand is they can't coexist.
Correct.
So somebody's gonna have to move, and it's gonna be the gun range.
If this goes through, correct.
Okay, well,
That's why I was getting ahead of it.
settles the issue.
Yes, I looked into it.
All right, thank you.
Yes.
Call someone online.
Go ahead, Ms. Kennedy.
Hi, Kate Kennedy, 13 Copper Beach Drive. I'm standing in front of my house right now, and the view that you can't see because it's so dark is the skyline of where these buildings will go. And a couple of things that struck me as I listened to this conversation are the fact that This is a small residential neighborhood, and I do appreciate the planning board or the board member who highlighted that, because it is a very small neighborhood. I wasn't aware of a lot of things that I heard tonight, and so I'll be requesting the documentation that was raised. But a couple things that struck me were the sidewalk on this very narrow street. I don't understand where that would go, so I would love to see the plan for that. I'd also like to understand what kind of study was done on the soundness of Copper Beach Drive. In front of my home in the last 6 months, there were 2 water main breaks, which caused the road to sink in several feet, which caused significant damage to the front of our property right at the street side. So as I think about the impact of 100 plus additional cars exiting that one-way street down Copper Beach Drive, I think about the impact to the infrastructure, which is already crumbling. I also question the construction vehicles under that bright skyline that you can see, and all of the shaking and the rumbling that comes alongside that, and the impact that that has to this neighborhood. And I also think about the safety of the children who are riding their bikes on this neighborhood, with just the few cars that we see come up and down this street, some of which are dropping their family members off at the train or picking them up at the train. So I really just want to highlight that the impact to that extra traffic and other activity in this very quiet neighborhood can't be overlooked when addressing this. That's what I have to share tonight. Thank you for the time.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public? Step right up.
Hey, Chris Broderick, 5 Copper Beach Drive. So I could probably ramble on for a long time because I expected something entirely different, much like the builder did when he came here, what this was going to be about. But what I'm seeing right now is there's a plan that nobody knows what the plan is. And you're asking us, as the people that live here, that our kids, our grandchildren, we have multi-generational families that live in the house, nobody leaves. The only people that leave because they have to leave because of other issues. Everybody stays there. Now you're giving us a plan to ask us, are you going to be okay with this? Are you going to have anything to say? And the plan just stinks, okay? So I don't understand the procedural things that you folks can do. I'm sure you do, but this has to be paused now, and these folks have to bring back what they're actually expecting to do. And we will probably still have a problem with it. But there's nothing. The sidewalk, I've never heard of that sidewalk before. That's my house that goes to the walkway. One of those houses on her map was the house that goes by my house to that walkway. I have grandchildren. I have friends on that street that started as small families that now have grandchildren. Those grandchildren are there. We walk up and down the street. We have no idea what we're going to see 6 months from now, a year from now, 2 years from now. And I appreciate what the builder's saying. It's been 3 years of this. I appreciate what his attorney has said, that go ahead and vote, because we're just going to take it to another place and fight it there, and try to wait us out. What I'm asking you folks is to please pause this, make them do what they're supposed to do, make it right, and let us then have a say in what it is, because we don't have a say. Is there a sidewalk? Is there not a sidewalk? Is there going to be lights?
This is your time.
I'm sorry?
This is your time.
I appreciate that. But I'm telling you that I can't tell you what I think about it because I don't know what it is. They don't know what it is.
That's because they're always going to be constantly proposing. They're going to max. Always going to try to get the max. That's why they're asking for, again, we have a setback law that you guys have all in Copper Beach had. That's why your houses are all in the middle of your properties, because we have setback rules. Yep, part of the zoning of your street. They're asking us to waive those setback rules so that they can build up to 5.7 feet from their lot line for one of their 52-foot high buildings. And also even closer with the building for the kids in the workout room. So again, as a board, we have to take that into account. Do we give them the waiver for that? We don't have to. That's why we're listening to the public, because we want to do what's in the best interest of the public. They're always going to shoot the moon. They've already shot the moon twice. They went from 3 buildings to 2. They're still going to shoot the moon. They're still shooting the moon. Again, they want to use the waiver. They want the earth removal waiver so they can cut down as far down as they can to make it as level as they can. Do we have to give them that waiver? No. So again, what you're seeing in front of you is always going to change. It's a changing map.
Respectfully, Mr. Chairman, we shouldn't have to weigh in until we know what it is we're looking at.
No, you
Those
have to weigh in.
changes,
We need your weighing in to
those
help.
changes-
We are Clay. You guys are pushing onto us.
I appreciate that. At this point, we weigh in. But we should have another chance. And what I don't want to see is a developer come into my neighborhood and just try to wear us down. Wait for the right weekend, wait for the right Tuesday, wait for the right meeting date, where you don't have it. You can see, if you look on here and you look in here, this is almost the entire neighborhood. And the ones that don't are at work. We don't want this to happen. We don't want that street coming onto ours, not because we don't like people, because we love people. It's a great neighborhood. And I thank you for what you said earlier. It's a nice, quiet, good neighborhood. We don't want that. What we want is what we have. What we came to Kingston, whether it was 25 years ago or 10 years ago, was that neighborhood is what it was. And to just jam a couple of buildings in there for profit, for somebody, and no disrespect, sir, but doesn't really give a shit, doesn't really care about the neighborhood, it isn't fair to us. What we bought into is and we shouldn't be asked to weigh in on it any more than we have to until we know what we're looking at. And these folks don't seem to have the actual plan. Things are gonna change, I understand that.
Again, just to push it forward back to you. They feel that they've already given us too much because they haven't got, to them, usually it's very conceptual. So we've asked for a lot more than the usual. But again, this is why we need your constant input so that we can say to them back, like I'm going to say back to them after, is this is extremely dense for the area. Extremely dense, and you need to correct it. Why should we give you a setback waiver? Prove to us why the town of Kingston, the zoning board, should give you that setback waiver. I don't think they've given me the proof. The rest of the board, I'm not gonna speak for apparently. So I don't know if they should get that setback waiver, which then they would have to correct the rest of that project, which they might say is feasibly and viable, I don't know. And they want an earth removal waiver also. So these waivers that they request, which are in the packet, again, you guys pushing back is the reason we can push it back against them. So I understand you're never gonna.
Sir, I don't find any fault. I appreciate what you have all done. I understand what you're saying, and I understand what you're doing.
It's gonna constantly be moving. It's a moving target.
I guess the only thing I would say is that we're not gonna stop coming to these meetings.
Exactly.
It's not gonna end. I'm gonna drag my son home from school to come to the meeting, so you see another person that'll one day inherit a house on Copper Beach Drive that doesn't want those problems. Whatever you folks can do as a board will understand that this won't end. So, and I understand the builder doesn't want to keep dragging it on, I get that. Maybe it's just time to walk away and find something that's more feasible. And if it was 3 or 4 houses back there, then maybe it's feasible, right? But I don't even know what the numbers are now. 2 buildings with 145 units, with sidewalks that were never there when we bought our homes, and with traffic that didn't exist. I bought that house because it's a dead end off of a dead end where my kids could go out and play, where my dog, when he sneaks out of the yard, isn't gonna get run over. Those are things that aren't gonna happen with another 175 cars. And I'm sorry if I went on too long. I'd like to yell and scream, but I'm trying to do the best I can. And honestly, I understand what development is, but it just doesn't need to be there.
Very good.
It failed.
If I could ask you and your entire neighborhood that's here tonight, I've heard things that, like I said, I want to hear from your neighborhood. But quite frankly, I don't think this is a very efficient way to do it. It sounds like there are a lot of things about this project that you're just learning about for the first time that are being proposed by this developer. It sounds like, I mean, there's supposed to be an illumination study. I don't think our engineer has seen it. I think that's a really important issue for this neighborhood. You know, what's the impact going to be light-wise? I mean, but this is just, there are more efficient ways to do it. I don't know, would you be willing to sit down with the developer and go through, you know, just have them narratively explain what their proposal is and something to make this process a little more efficient, not have you drag you out here, you know, for long meetings where it's hard to have a dialogue. It sounds like the easement that gets to the school, I don't know, do you want it improved? Do you want it closed off? I mean,
Ma'am, respectfully.
I don't know, I'm just throwing these out.
Respectfully,
The
if the
sidewalk.
builder and his attorney want to come to my house, I'll shovel my patio, we'll sit there and have a conversation. I just honestly think the way they're doing things right now will not change anyone from Copper Beach or that area's mind right now. All we want to know is what exactly are you asking us to get into? And can we live with that?
Well, I'm just
And that's-
suggesting a way
Nope,
for you
I
to know
appreciate you're
what
saying.
exactly is being proposed.
Have you
The
had a neighborhood
waivers they're
meeting
asking,
at all?
all of those things.
I think, would you be willing to do that? I don't know if it's gonna go anywhere, but maybe they wanna hear from you. I mean, they do that in Boston a lot.
Working groups, they're called.
Ah.
They're
And then-
really
then-
effective ways of getting people.
I'll let you guys send out letters and get but we have to have our meeting.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to go forward with our meeting, so.
Thank you. Well, I'll step away. I appreciate everything you guys are saying. I appreciate that you want, and I don't mean this as a negative to anybody else, you particularly understand, to me, or at least you've articulated what a neighborhood is, and that's what it is to us. And I just beg you folks, I beg this board to give us the protection so we keep our neighborhood and not lose it. And thank you very much. I appreciate
I
it.
want to get to yes on this. I do. I believe, I'm sorry, I believe that this town needs affordable housing. And so it's important to me. The state has dictated that we have to consider these projects.
Yeah.
We have to do it. So
I understand.
I want it to be something that you'll be proud of when your grandson lives in your house.
All right, thank you. We gotta keep moving. Hold on, one second. Brett. Where is she? All right, Miss Kennedy, please go ahead.
Hi, thank you.
Name and
My
address,
name's Olivia
please.
Kennedy, 13 Copper Beach Drive. I'd first like to say thank you for Mr. Hanson and Mr. Broderick for showing up tonight, as well as my parents via Zoom. I've lived in this neighborhood my entire life. This is not an abstract proposal to me. This is my home, my street, and my family's daily safety. So I would appreciate if you listen to everything I have to say. It might sound like a bit of a tangent, but I would really appreciate everybody to just listen to this. I want to be clear, I support housing, including affordable housing, but support for housing does not mean accepting any project at any scale in any location, regardless of its impact. I really do think this proposal crosses that line. My first and most serious concern is obviously safety. The size and density of this development will significantly increase traffic and activity on residential roads, as well as the road to elementary and middle school that were never designed to handle it. Copper Beach Drive and the surrounding streets are narrow, residential, and already constrained. Introducing traffic generated by high-density development of this magnitude creates real risks to drivers, pedestrians, and emergency response times. This isn't speculative. When traffic volumes exceed road capacity, safety degrades. If emergency vehicles are delayed or if visibility and turning movements are compromised, the consequences are permanent and unacceptable. I want this on the record. There is no credible way to mitigate the safety impacts of this project without fundamentally reducing its scale and invasiveness. Conditions and promises do not change the physical limitations of these roads. My second concern is compatibility. This project is fundamentally incompatible with the surrounding neighborhood. Its density, height, and intensity are dramatically out of scale with the existing residential character. This is not thoughtful infill or gradual growth. It is an abrupt and permanent imposition on a long-established neighborhood. These people are my family. Zoning exists to protect communities from this exact type of overreach. Once approved, this project cannot be undone. Residents will live with the consequences long after approvals are forgotten. I have lived here my whole life. This neighborhood was built to be a quiet, safe, and residential space. The scale of this proposal would permanently change that reality, not through evolution, but through force. Asking residents to absorb that level of disruption and risk is not reasonable, and it is certainly not fair. This proposal fails on safety, fails on compatibility, and fails the basic text of responsible planning. For these reasons, I strongly urge the town to reject this proposal, not delay it, not condition it, but deny it. Protect the safety of the residents and the integrity of this neighborhood that we all call home. I really just wanted to get all of that out there, and I apologize that I can't be in person, because if I were able to be there, I'd be there right next to my neighbors, fighting just as hard, backing them up on everything they have to say. I really urge you to listen to our community when we say we will not stop at trying to prevent this from happening. And it truly is a huge imposition to our lives. And I really hope that you consider what we have to say.
Thank you. Next up.
Okay, Britt Opachinsky, 15 Copper Beach Drive. I guess, to me, all this talk about the traffic and the sidewalks can be stopped. I don't understand the access road. Why can we not get rid of the access road? I don't see the point of it. I don't see many developments 10 times the size have one way in, one way out. There's a lot of talk about putting in sidewalks. Can we cut through to the school? What's it going to do to Cushman? Cushman needs to be widened. There's wetlands on both sides. Why is the access road there? Is it mandatory? Or is it a convenience for renters that are transient residents to come and not have to go around to get onto Route 3 just so they can hop on 3A on this end? It doesn't make sense to me. So why are you destroying a neighborhood, creating safety concerns, bogging down the schools? To me, get rid of the road. If you look at the plan, you can just cut it off. You can keep your fancy little patio and your rec room and everything you want there. You can keep your parking lot. Just get rid of the road. Can you just, I'm asking the zoning committee to formally ask them to remove the access road on Copper Beach.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Next.
All right, good evening, everyone. I'm Peter Vitagliano. I'm 11 Copper Beach Drive. I've lived there for over 30 years. I'm an original, just like many of my neighbors. What I'm going to state is fact. But I all want you to remember, did you all have a My Buddy doll when you were growing up? You could beat it, punch it, kick it, dress it, put lipstick on it, do whatever you wanted to, and then just go about your business. That's what Copper Beach Drive feels like. Every time we have to fight to close the street because cars are zipping up like it's Route 3 to get to the train station. Our neighborhood is our neighborhood. So let's talk a few facts. One, this will destroy a neighborhood that many families have built over 30 years. If it was happening to you, you'd be in here with a militia. So I don't want to hear that this isn't going to happen. Next, why do we have to have the access gate? Fantastic point. It's just on there. The original plan had both, but now the new one only has one. But it still shows up on there, but it's only out. I am so tired of the double talk. Can we just stop it? Copper Beach Drive should be isolated, if this even goes in any form forward, with enough distance between us and this development that I can't hear it with a howitzer. That's how it should be. That's common sense and coherent thought. If it was your neighborhood, you wouldn't go for it either. Next, did anybody do a study on the devaluation of all of our properties? This is going to devalue all the properties on Copper Beach Drive. Don't tell me they're going to go up because we got more people moving in. It's low-income housing. The value of our homes is going to go down 6 figures. Who's going to reimburse us? The developer? Doubt it. But he's going to make a killing on all the rentals. That is not coherent thought. Next, Distance between the development and our properties, not far enough. Now we're talking about retaining walls so they can build on top of it, so we can have 4 stories. So just in case you didn't want to see it over the pine tree, we guarantee you'll see the building over the pine trees. Now, we're putting 4 stories on it. We got rid of a building though, so we're going to give you a cookie, but then we're going to build something over here that's even bigger. I hate double talk and being lied to or shammed, and that's how I feel that this is going. And you're trying to do it right, I get it. You're trying to make money, it's America. You didn't go through this the right way as far as I'm concerned. No sidewalks or streetlights on a populated Copper Beach Drive with many families with multiple children, and we're looking to increase traffic. Awesome, that is so smart. So what we'll do is we'll My Buddy doll the neighborhood again. We'll add a couple of sidewalks, we'll put in some streetlights, we got you covered, but we're gonna go right back to our apartments. You guys suffer, it's your street, but we're just gonna do what we want to it and move on. Not the way this is going down. Get over it. Copper Beach Drive is not a My Buddy doll. I had to put that in here twice. You just don't give us a cookie to put us in a corner and continue your project. There was no actual noise analysis done for Copper Beach Drive. It was done for Marion Drive and the train station. We didn't get ours. Now we have to listen to a dog park. We have dogs on our street, but now we're adding dogs, we're adding traffic, we're adding residents in 4-story buildings that are taller than the trees, which would have been some kind of an audio buffer. That noise is going to be out of control. Thanks a lot for that, really appreciate it. We're also going to be adding, aside from traffic, we're going to be adding crime, we're going to be adding population, because it's low-income housing. I'm sorry, you're going to get more people. When you have more people in a small populated area, crime goes up. It's going to get louder at night. We're going to have people in and out at all hours. That gate is not going to be a one-way gate. It'll be a one-way gate for the first month until it becomes a revolving door. This is how it works everywhere, and you can tell us it's not. You're going to have a fob. BS. You'll be able to get in and out of there at will, just like everybody else. And there'll be cars racing up and down the street to drop people off at the out gate and drop people off at the in gate. It's just not feasible, coherent, intelligent, or thinking of others first. It's thinking of your profit margin. We deal with multiple vehicles still racing up and down our roads for train access. It's only going to make it worse. The entire assumption that train usage for the people who are living in this development is laughable. Ask yourselves, developers, if this were your neighborhood and you lived on Copper Beach Drive and this was presented to you as it is being done tonight, how would you react? Your lives would be destroyed. Your homes would be devalued. You would be minimized. You would feel put on, forced to do something that you have no say in. You would feel like it's going to happen regardless of what we say, all for the profit and the greed of one man. Not necessary. There's also undeveloped property on the other side of the train station. Why isn't someone looking at that and buying that and building over there, away from residential properties?
All right, let's keep to the merits of this, please.
Well, that's what the merit of this is. There's other property that could have been purchased that this could have been done that doesn't affect neighborhoods in any way.
Let's keep to this plan, please.
So that was my last point, other than saying this is a horrible plan. I don't think it's well thought out. I think it's a great business plan for somebody, but they did not think of others before themselves. So please deny this.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Next, please.
Paul Tanner, 6 Copper Beach. I don't know how to follow all that up, but I kind of am more looking at what I have on paper more than anything else. One of the few things that when the T first came and proposed on all the public meetings we had and everything else, which I was fully involved with, one of the reasons they closed the road was because they stated incompatible land uses, which means Copper Beach is residential and the property on the other side is commercial industrial. And the fact that they did a traffic study and we had like 1,400 cars a day. So that's how the road got closed. Even though this is a 40B project and it's still, it does bypass certain laws. The fact is the property it's on is still commercial industrial and Copper Beach is still residential. So by putting a road there, isn't that kind of like defeating the purpose of originally why the T closed the road? The other thing is...
Do you have paperwork on that? Do you have anything, a decision, anything that's filed?
It's in the environmental impact report.
Which one?
for the MBTA train station. It's like 94, 97, 1994, 1997.
I mean,
I actually have a couple of them
welcome
at
that
home.
into the record
The
if you
thing
have
is
that.
only like 600 pages long, but I mean, one
If
of
you
the
have
other
that,
things
It would be nice to submit.
is Copper Beach is zoned R40. Wouldn't putting this road in there make that lot non-conforming to an R40 zoning? And I understand that you could do it for public purpose, but they've said tonight that they're putting gates up to make it private. So that's not for public purpose. So wouldn't that easement kind of be violating our zoning bylaws? Can anybody answer me that?
I don't have an answer for that.
I don't,
I don't think so.
yeah.
That's our town's council.
Okay. Threw me off guard there. I thought somebody could answer that one.
It's a right of way, that's what they're claiming it as, but I still have a curiosity if it's making that lot
Okay.
incompatible.
One of the other things I have is, how wide is the easement going into the development on Marion Drive? Can the engineer answer me that? Can somebody answer that?
Engineer could probably, she probably knows it, probably offhand.
How wide is the easement for the
Oh.
entrance and exit on Marion Drive?
The pavement part or the actual easement?
Well, the pavement part, the road. How wide is the road?
I think it's 20 feet they're asking for.
20 feet, okay. Okay, and how wide is the easement for the road going onto Copper Beach Drive, including the fire lane?
I would guess 18, it looks like.
The road itself is 24, the easement is about 50.
And how wide is the easement going onto Copper Beach, including the fire lane?
That's what she said.
That's 50 feet.
Easement's 50 feet,
And the
pavement's
road is
24.
24 feet, including the fire lane? And how wide is the road on Marion Drive? 20 feet. So including the fire lane and the road going to Copper Beach, it's wider than the entrance and exit on Marion Drive. Now, I'm assuming the material on the fire lane is tar. So I mean, essentially, that's a 2-lane road. You can put up as many gates as you want, but that allows for 2 lanes of traffic there. That's not just an exit. That really, I mean, if you expect us to believe that, that's kind of like ridiculous. I mean, you know, electronic gates and, you know, putting up 2 separate gates, you know, we have gates at the end of Copper Beach. I cannot tell you how many times those are unlocked and opened, and we've had cars going through there. And, you know, we just call and they lock it up again, but who are we gonna call when they're open with you guys? That's, you know, we're gonna beat a dead horse here. One of the other things is, if you're gonna do a traffic study and put a counter on Copper Beach, it may be a good idea to put it at the beginning of the road instead of at the end of the road, because essentially it only counted cars going to the last 4 houses on the street. I mean, it didn't take into account all the traffic that's going up and down the street at the other 15 or 16 houses on the road. I mean, you know. So the easement going on to Copper Beach is wider than Cushman Drive. Marion Drive, but it's also wider than Cushman Drive coming into Copper Beach.
They're not using Cushman anymore.
Yeah, I know that, but I'm just trying to give everybody a kind of general knowledge here of that this easement is wider than Cushman Drive. I mean, if you're gonna tell me that that's gonna be a one-way access for, yeah, you're essentially hooking up Marion Drive to Copper Beach, and that's what the T stopped doing. That's what they did by closing the road. And my other question is, why do you need the road to Copper Beach? Can the developer answer me that? Because I go to Home Depot a lot, and I see a development there that's twice as big as this, and they only have one entrance and one exit there. Can the developer answer me that, why they need the road onto Copper Beach?
We'll ask them after.
That's pretty much all I have. Thank you.
Any more?
My name is Richard Powderly. I live at 5 Standish Ave East in Kingston. I'm the owner of a doggy daycare place where the easement is taking place. If I could describe it for a moment. I know it's late at night, and I don't know how much detail you want to go through, but I've been working with Rick and the landlord on the easement that's currently being proposed, and I don't have any solutions yet to problems that are going to be created. It wasn't my intention tonight to get into the details, but I can if you want to.
Does the easement go through your property?
I'm sorry?
Does the easement go through your property?
No, the easement got moved. Originally it did.
Okay.
It clipped a little bit of it. It's been moved to the next lot.
Well,
Okay? However, the fence that I have that's closest to the easement, they're going to put a road in there that is less than 3 feet, I believe, from the outside fence area where we house dogs during the day. So there's a lot of issues I have, basically traffic, but most importantly, safety issues. Safety issues for our clients because of the large amount of traffic. And I'm only talking during construction. I'm not talking about afterwards. I haven't even got there yet. So what I see happening is, and I have the details. We can go through them if you want, or I can just tell you that I'm concerned. We have not reached any solutions yet that I'm happy with. Rick and I have been talking for the past couple of years, together with the landlord, to go through the variations and changes that have been made and to see how it affects my business. At the moment, I'm very concerned on safety primarily, both to the dogs, my employees, and also the clients as they come in and they leave. The traffic is horrendous during the early part of the morning and late in the afternoon. Middle time of the day, it's quiet as a church mouse. The last meeting that I attended here, the developer was going to bring in 18,000 tons at the time of fill. Whether it be done over 1 month, 2 months, or 3 months, it's a huge amount of trucks. And I have all the numbers that it could be. The big problem comes with the dogs that are outside. When they hear foreign noises, they see people and equipment that they're not familiar with, they start barking, then they all start to bark, then that area becomes a very dangerous area for the dogs and also for the employees. I don't know whether you want to go through the details tonight.
No, we'd like to hear your concerns.
I'm sorry?
We'd like to hear your concerns, but we don't need the details.
You want you
Please, you can give us your concerns, but we don't need the details.
Okay, all right. So those are my concerns. I do, in the details, I have the estimated number of cars for the train station. I know what the number of cars in and out for us during the day, based on the number of tonnage, whether it's a blend of tractor trailers or straight jobs. It can be as much as 800 trucks. Over a month period, 2 months, or 3 month period. And again, all that activity is within 3 feet of my fence, okay? So Rick has offered to put up some type of a barrier, which I don't quite understand. And I am in discussions with him currently. We're going to talk later tonight, but I think that will get postponed till later. So, but I just wanted to go on record of my concerns, even though I've remained silent up to this point.
Very good, excellent,
Okay.
thank you. Thank you very much. Anyone else in the public on Zoom?
Can I just ask one question for the developer? I don't think he answered the question.
Why is the access?
Why is the access road going on to Copper Beach? Is that mandatory? If he could get up and explain that, or is that just a convenience thing?
No, we can ask that. Developer or lawyer will step up. Because it is a question I was actually gonna ask.
I'm sorry?
It was a question I actually was gonna ask.
Yeah, so it was originally two-way, which is why I was coming in off of Cushman, but I would not have been interested in this project with sole access from Marion. Didn't make any sense to me, because all of the T is great for the transport, but all of your amenities in town are going the other way.
Yeah, but the only reason this has really been pushed on us is because you said it was for people who are gonna be utilizing the T. So. That was, you said it earlier today, you said this.
That's the reason why the project is there, but that's not the sole reason. There are a lot of other reasons that are design factors that come into play when you lay out the site. So one way in and one way out didn't work. So.
All right. I'll get to the brass taxes of it since I'm getting sick of hearing everybody. All right. The main problems I'm having right now with what you're showing us, and I'll go along the board after I'm done. I think you need to do another traffic study. I think that first one was very inadequate. It needs to be done at a time when school is in session, more of a busier time. I can pull the board later, see if that's something that they feel should be done. I don't feel your setback waiver. You guys need to give me a reason why you should be giving the setback waiver. Are you trying to push to every edge of your property, using up 52% of your impervious surface, which is a huge amount since we don't allow anybody in town to go either over 20 or 25% depending on where they are. So you're over double that. I don't think you need the second access. As I said before, you can turn it into emergency access only. It doesn't need to be an egress for your apartment buildings or condos. I don't know what it is. I think your density is extremely way too high for this area, being that it is a commercial industrial zone. I know that it's connected to literally abutting an R40. So I think you have an extreme density problem that needs to be corrected. I don't think we should be able to, we can argue it, I don't think we should give you a waiver against the height, since we've only given very few waivers of height, and that was mostly the mall. Other than that, we don't have any other in town. Because of your density issue, you've created an open space issue, where you have probably less than 1% of open space for the amount of people you're going to have there. To compare it to other projects I've seen, like in Plymouth and Hanover, where they have open space for just the people who don't have kids that you say that they'll come there, where they have outdoor seating, outdoor play, outdoor racquetball, everything. You have none of that. You have 2 patios at best in a dog park. Why you would do a dog park over a regular park, first, blows my mind. I feel like your entrance off of Marion Drive is inadequate for emergency and traffic. What else? And I think I take issue with your earth removal waiver also. I need to have a reason why you guys feel you need that waiver. And that's my 2 cents. I think your density being so high is most of your problem. It can fix a lot of these other problems. I'll pass a lot on to the board, and I'm only saying that not just because of the way the project is laid out, but obviously the pushback from the public. Not just the public that is adjacent to you, but the public that is all around also. So I'll move along the lane, and you can move along.
Yeah, I agree with most of everything that you just said. I'm confused on the applicant's statement that we're stalling things when we had talked about this stuff back the last time that we had a meeting. I have a big problem with the traffic study, and I said that to you guys, and I don't see another traffic study. So I'm not sure where, I don't know where we are with that.
We can make a request as a board.
Yeah, I would like to make a request for that. The density issue is also something that I'm concerned about. I think that it would be a good idea if you guys had, I mean, we can't force you to, but sat down with the neighborhood, maybe before coming back before us. I don't see the harm in that. And if the access can be to Copper Beach Drive can be eliminated, I think that's a huge selling point to the neighborhood, I would think, and I would be happy with that. But yeah, I agree with most of what you just said. So if we could fix those issues, I don't know what you're willing to propose, what you're willing to come back with. I don't know. We were here like months ago and nothing is, like little tiny things have changed, but the traffic is the huge thing. We need a real traffic study.
Kevin?
I agree. A 20-foot wide entrance off Marion Drive is 20 feet is not wide for two lanes, especially in the snow plows, trucks, cars got to move over. That's not wide enough for emergency vehicles either. I have
Also
a problem
delivery
with
vehicles, not to interrupt, but lots of deliveries, I'm assuming, for people in that apartment complex.
Yeah, and I have a problem with waivers as far as with the bylaw that you're asking for, and the noise, the lighting, and going off to Copper Beach. Because originally, I thought this plan was, okay, right next to the train station, so people could get on the train, but it's, doesn't seem to be just that way. And, you know, I get it, you do a digital copy, goes out, but to me, you can hide a lot from a digital without seeing with a full set of plans that spell it all out exactly how things are gonna be, and everything has to be matched. And the traffic study, I don't agree with that. And that's all.
Bob?
Yeah, everything the rest of the board said, and, you know, the setback approval, I've always felt that if you were going to get a setback approval, you need a hardship to prove why you need it, to me. And I don't see a hardship for developers to get extra, you know, extra space. I understand the whole idea of the thing is to make money on it, but I can't consider that much of a hardship. The density is just way out of whack. The height, the amount of vehicles, especially both during construction and residential. I mean, Amazon deliveries. I live on Adams Ave down the Nook, and it's not a very wide road. You know, there's like 6 houses. We each go, everyone just gets Amazon deliveries, and you have to kind of wait for the Amazon truck and everything else to get through. So that's just an example, I think, of the extra traffic. Obviously, the noise, the lighting, you know, the long-term living and the construction of the traffic, like I said. So I can't, I don't mean to be fresh or rude, but low-income people, are they really gonna be taking the train to go into Boston? I don't know. I don't see that. 148 units, how many people are actually gonna hop on that train and go into town? Not many. That's all I got.
Thank you. Marcia?
Our engineer did not comment on your illumination study, although you mentioned you'd done one. So I'm a little betwixt and between on that.
I think you might not have
Nope. Mike, please.
So again, I'm concerned about that. I do think that I'm from Vermont, and I'm obsessed with light pollution. I love the night sky, and I wish I lived in a neighborhood where I could see the stars, so lucky for you folks that live on Copper Beach Drive.
What aren't you obsessed with?
And so I'm worried about that. I'm worried about the noise impacts, not necessarily from people living there, but the construction noise impacts. And I don't know how to deal with that. There's a lot. I think the traffic study said potentially 700 trucks during construction. And I know the gentleman who, I love dogs too, who's worried about his dogs. So I don't know, I think that needs to really be explored in greater detail, because that's a real world impact, the light, the noise, construction noise. Hey, if the people on Copper Beach don't want a sidewalk, then don't put one on there. I mean, it sounds like they don't want it. Again, I'm struggling. I don't know that I have that big an issue with the density. I do have, with the number of units you're proposing, I do have some concerns about the lack of outdoor space. And there's really, and I know it's an industrial zone, but I still think to make it welcoming to even low-income people, you should try to think about more green space, outdoor space. And I'm trying to figure out whether you are asking for all these waivers, these setbacks, because it's part of your efforts to preserve the buffer, the tree canopy buffer between what you're proposing and Copper Beach. Is that part of what's going on? If you could explain what the reasons for all of your waivers are a little bit better. I know you have the right to ask for them under the 40B law. And so it's one thing to ask for them, but I think it's reasonable for us to ask you, well, why do you want it? And how does it fit into the neighborhood concerns, the whole R zoning? So those are things that I would like you to address before we go any further. And I would really, I don't know if it's possible, I'm happy to reach out to, or ask Paul, the chairman, to reach out to town council. I would love to see a working group put together, with the developer and people from the neighborhood, people from the MBTA on this, closed off the street issue kind of thing. As many people as we can pull together to address all of the concerns, to see if it can be a win-win for the town. I'm in this for the town.
Thank you. Dave?
I pretty much agree with everything. My biggest issue is, I think, is the density issue. Open space. I think whether there's 20 families, 20 kids or 20 families with kids, those kids need a place to play. Anybody that has kids knows that those kids need a place to play. And to say that, and they should have a designated place to play. If you can have a dog park, and I realize most couples nowadays do just have dogs and don't have kids, myself included. But kids need a place to play. and I think that, some type of small playground or some type of, something would be beneficial. I also think your snow removal calculations with the trees, and I think that is inadequate. You're never gonna, as somebody who has removed snow for over 30 years, you're never gonna move all this snow into those small spaces, especially with trees and shrubs and whatnot in the way. So again, these all come down to density issues. I don't know, you said you wouldn't be interested in the project if Copper Beach wasn't in play. I think probably everybody in this room would be willing to work with you to get this thing to a yes if Copper Beach wasn't in play. So, I don't know. I don't know if that could ever be a compromise with you. But those are some of the concerns I have. And I do think that asking for the waivers, I do think that a hardship does need to be explained a little bit better. I do think that the earth removal needs to be explained a little bit better as to why that some of that can't be managed with cuts and fills to mitigate some of the amount that needs to be, in and out of there. So that's it. That's all I have.
So do you want to explain why you want a setback waiver?
So the majority of the setback waiver is based off setbacks from the Thomas Street right-of-way, which isn't really an area that's going to be used. It's also not anywhere anyone's living. So that's primarily where the setback waiver is coming from, is that area that's already not. The point of a setback is to really protect people on abutting lots. That's not for an abutting lot. It's not.
Your amenity building looks like it's about a foot from one of the property lines.
The amenity building, the closest property line is the Thomas Street right-of-way, which I believe is 5 feet off it.
That's the dash line? We got a dash line as a property line. It looks like it's 5 to 10 feet from the top left corner.
So there's one that's probably 10 to 15 feet off of it.
From their property line?
From the closest one, so the west.
And then the parking lot in between the two looks like it's about 5 feet from the Kingston property line.
The parking itself is for the amenity building, the parking, or?
No, the middle one, the dead middle parking area.
The retaining wall there is probably about 5 to 6 feet off the property line.
So what's the hardship for giving you 6 feet instead of 15?
In
Or
order to
20?
fit the parking lot there with a sidewalk, so people can traverse the site.
So that's not a hardship, you just want a parking lot there.
It's in order to be able to fit the appropriate amount of spaces in order to accommodate the amount of units.
So
that-
density. So if you have less units, you would need less parking, and therefore you could easily make the side setbacks. So I think it's going back to the fact that we have a density issue that could correct a lot of these issues that, not the board alone, but the street itself is having. Not only is emergency access, which is obviously a major, major problem, but your density issue is causing your open space problem, your snow problem, your side setback problem, probably your earth cut problem, and your impervious surface problem, which you're probably asking waivers for all of, but you wouldn't need if you had less density. So I guess I'll pull a board is, I think density is your biggest, which would be less light pollution, less sound pollution, less construction pollution. So I guess I'm giving it more to the attorney and to the developer is, I don't speak for the whole board, I speak for myself, and I'm sure the board, I heard from the board, is density, density, density. You need to reduce your density. I don't know if you want to continue this and give us a new plan, or if you want to carry forward with the plan that you've given us and have us go forward on that one. That's up to you. And I don't know where to go from here, other than a continuation. And what do you want to do?
Go forward
Continue to what?
with the existing plans.
You want to go forward with this plan?
So you are not willing to work with anything that we've said?
That's not what I said.
What are you saying?
We're saying
I'm
less
sorry.
density, so.
You're
less
saying go
density-
forward with the existing plans
My
that we
number
have right here.
To my attorney, minimum density for a multifamily at mass housing is 17 units per acre. We're at 14. That's the minimum at mass housing. So density, at least in mass housing's eyes, is not an issue here. Be willing to work on just about everything. There's been a lot of valid points that have been brought up, but that's not gonna fly with mass housing.
But you just said go forward with these plans.
Yeah.
So we've asked you to like consider the gate, we've asked you to consider the snow removal. You won't take out the trees, you won't do anything to these plans?
I'm not saying we won't make adjustments, I'm just saying that I'm not gonna modify the density, right? There are a lot of other things to work with, but
Like
the
what?
the essence of the plans is we're gonna go forward.
I think you need to go to the microphone
Yeah,
too,
sorry.
please. I don't know, go forward.
I don't know how we go forward. To me, my point is he's.
So if he wants a vote, then he wants a vote on these plans.
No, he's not asking for that.
We're
He's
at-
saying, I'm not willing to reduce the density. He's being very
Yeah,
upfront
but
with
these
us.
plans,
He's pushed to 10.88 of
He's-
his 10.9 acres. How does he adjust?
Again, he said, we've made a lot of valid points. I'm not going to reduce my density. Maybe I'll do a lot of other things.
Or we
So
could- we
that's
could
what he
con-
said to
so
you.
do you
I
wanna
wanna go
continue-
forward
Do you wanna
with my
continue?
density plans.
Do you wanna
I don't want to
continue?
speak for
Can
the
you-
guy, but I
Please.
think that's what he said.
Do you want to continue?
And how long do you need? And are you willing to do another traffic study?
Not willing to do another traffic study. That was your peer review person that you guys hired. I had nothing to do with it, so
Right.
that.
Our
you-
peer review reviews your traffic study.
And our guy said it was
No,
fine.
Right, your peer, you hired your peer, it was an independent party I had nothing to do with, so, and I would request the continuance, maybe
I wanna look
45
into that.
days, 60 days, and we'll come back with lots of edits.
March 4th, when's,
I'm not here on the 4th, but I could,
we can do the March 18th. What's that, what's a Wednesday, obviously? Anything on there? Guessing not. Anyone make a motion?
I'll make a motion to continue this to March 18th, 2026.
At 7 o'clock?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Very good. 7, 18th, sorry, the date.
We have to close.
Oh, yes. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.